It's coming.
Not to put a sense of urgency, but seriously, limited window where there's almost nobody in the space doing it. And you can post a simple video like a Bigfoot thing. Bigfoot here. And get millions of followers over the course of like a couple videos. Why not go all in now?
Get ready.
These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake.
Trust the process.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process. But no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
This is the Wild West gold rush. You're going to look back in like 15 years as a content creator and be like, I could have done it. And I did not go all in, and I didn't invest the time and resources into this sweet spot. But like what's about to come is this like huge creators, or like these saplings are about to rapidly explode because essentially there's nothing on the market.
Don't miss this boat.
I got the horses in the back, horse tack is attached, hat is matte black, got the boots that's black to match.
These videos went viral in the last couple of days, getting millions of views. And PJ's here to tell us exactly how he did it.
I'm really excited to show everybody today like how I made the video step by step, like why it went viral, how I knew it would go viral, and how I've kind of created a formula for recreating this. So excited to kind of dive in and show you the process today. I'm a visual guy, so let's kind of like break down like all this stuff at a high level, and then I'll walk you through like the individual clips and the prompts and all that kind of stuff. So like first came first where I saw one of these original videos on TikTok that were kind of trending, and it was like smart, but it wasn't provocative. It was just some random dude in, like the ancient Israel. And I was like, that's not a good visual hook. What would get me to stop scrolling? And as you know, guys, like, that's always the question you start with. I'm a big fan of like the Mr. Beast school of thought of like, start with the thumbnail, start with the title. You build a video from that on what will stop the scroll. And so I just knew, and like, it's an important caveat to know, like, I grew up in the church, kind of as a pastor's kid. Like, I still have a faith life. It's not particularly evangelical as much anymore, but like, this is all means a lot to me. So I didn't want to have it like super bashing Christianity or blasphemous or anything like that. It was more of just like, okay, what probably wouldn't other Christians do because it's a little too provocative, but like non-Christians wouldn't fully understand like these jokes. So it kind of like, it's really funny because all my favorite magazines now, like Christian publications, they're all like, is this blasphemous or is this the funniest thing we've seen all week? So it's really fun that it like flirts that line. And that's what I was trying to do, is just have fun with some really great stories and characters. So I knew that like Jesus on the cross smiling would be like the most unhinged opener shot ever and would like get attention.
Yo, fam, they don't know that G-O-D is about to BRB.
And then I also thought of this really funny headline of like how Gen Z, how churches are marketing to Gen Z these days.
Yeah.
I just thought that would be like the best headline ever.
Definitely.
So yeah, this was like the first shot. And then I'll take you through some of my like creative process in a bit. But then it, essentially it's always just like thinking through like what are iconic scenes that people would recognize from the Bible. Obviously Jesus. This is a character named Samson.
These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake. I just took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down.
Well, and the phrasing you use there, like BRB, like, okay, like how replacement is that?
Yeah. I think I just heard in my head, like when I was thinking of like Jesus on the cross, like, yo guys, BRB, that was the first one. And it wasn't like, it's kind of funny, but it's like the comedic parallel of like the acronym of obviously like G-O-D, about to BRB, let's go, baby. That's what it's like. No. And so, my whole like school of thought on comedy, and it's funny, I've never really done a ton of like I've been a commercial director for 15 years. I didn't do as many funny things, but I've just been like binging Key and Peele, and I've grown up on SNL as well. And like, I think I'm starting to get a pattern for like creating funny content is all about establishing like somewhat of a serious norm that's like addiction therapy, and then you like have normal person, and then you insert that third person. Like that's the SNL way, is like establish the norm, break the norm with like a very unconventional twist to it. This does it like from the get-go. Mm-hmm. It's like Jesus is very serious, but now he's an influencer, so it's not serious. So that's kind of the comedy style that this plays on, and you can kind of rinse and repeat this with like other viral video types, as we'll talk about here. So this is like Samson, he just took some pre-workout. Like that's the funny bit here. I hate explaining jokes because it always dumbs down the joke.
That's good, fam.
Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens.
But like David saying like about to yeet this stone at Goliath,
Yeah.
you know, I thought was really funny. And I'll show you guys like all the other versions of this.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process, but no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
This Moses was really funny because obviously it's an iconic scene as he parts the Red Sea and he's like, no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks. And like, that's what the Egyptians would do. They built the pyramids. So just the way he said stacking bricks is funny because it's also like a kind of rapper term for getting money.
Yo, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here.
It's lit was really funny to me just because it's like a furnace. This is like this iconic scene where they're in it, they get thrown in the furnace for their faith. And then I don't know why for Noah, I just thought like him quoting the Old Town Road. I think it's because I got horses in the back. You know, he's got horses in the back. Seemed really funny. I have no idea what this animal is right here.
Yeah,
it is a
lost on the arc,
Libra. And my backstory is this is the canon. Like he didn't feed these guys, or they got eaten by like, you know, lions on this. So like this was an animal. Now it's not. AI has shown us extinct species.
Day 2 in the tomb. No Wi-Fi, no snacks. Just kind of waiting for God to respawn me.
I'll show you with the original video that I saw that kind of inspired this is I found that like characters whispering like they have this secret is a really weird, like you just don't think it's AI. I don't know why this performance style is really off-putting in a good way where you're like, yeah, what is the secret? So Jesus kind of saying like, I got no Wi-Fi, no snacks. God's about to respawn me. I had 2 more funny jokes that I guess people can steal. It was the Tower of Babel, and it was like, yo, we were building this thing, and now everyone started speaking like the Sims. You know, everyone's speaking like Sims. And then another one was like Lazarus is like, yo, Jesus hit me with the phoenix down. I'm back, baby. You know, like I thought those are a little too obscure video terms, but there's probably a series.
You know I'm a daddy's boy. He's got me in this Technicolor drip. Brother's so jelly right now. They're looking a little sus.
This one was really funny because it's like coat of many colors. He's got Technicolor drip. In the story in the Bible, they throw him in this pit, like, steal his thing and tell him he died, and then he comes back.
I'm supposed to say that God got me pregnant? Yeah, there's no way my parents are buying this story.
This was
that one.
Yeah. Okay. So this was actually a little controversial, but not if you really look at the history. So like Mary in the Bible was potentially like between 14 and 16 years old when she got pregnant, as pretty much most, as my understanding is like women were of marrying age when they were like 14 to 16. So everyone was like, oh my God, Mary's too young. But like, no, this is actually biblically accurate. But I thought it was like, okay, let's make her feel like a modern teenager where she's like, my parents are not going to believe this. And then lastly, Jonah and the whale.
I would like to formally apologize to God, the sailors, and this whale. Sorry, dude, I just took a poop over there.
Ironically, we're doing a full 25-minute AI TV production right now. So I've been dealing with Jonah for the last 3 months. That's going to come out. I don't know when it'll be distributed, but we're finishing in the next few weeks. And then I just thought the idea where he's apologizing to everybody and then like, oh, my bad, I pooped in the corner. Sorry, Mr. Whale.
Yeah.
I just thought that'd be a funny bit.
Yeah, this is great. And they captured the whale so well, the background. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like the bottom looks like the sphincter of a whale to me.
Yeah.
But who knows what stomach lining looks like. I wish I watermarked this stuff. Like, so this week, like, obviously it did pretty well on my TikTok. I had like, I'll show you in a second, but I have like no subscribers. Here, let me do a full screen share and I'll kind of take you through some different numbers and metrics, because I'm presuming I'm talking to a lot of like creators, people who want to create AI video and want to kind of do this. And I don't ever like share this numbers and stuff to brag. I'm still kind of an amateur at like the social media game. I think I've cracked the code on Twitter X pretty well, but like I think that there's something to be done with TikTok here that like no one's still tapping into yet. And that's what I want to explain today to people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. TikTok might be really good for this because it hooks you in so well. And I feel like with AI video, the two genres that we're going to see perform so well, one is comedy. I think that's obvious. Another one is kind of like horror, because you already see some great things on TikTok with the siren head and all the weird stuff on there that just kind of captivates your attention?
Yeah, so there was it Void Stomper, I think, is the main TikTok account that does all the weird horror things. It was so funny because like a month ago he was posting that like I get 1 billion views a month and I can barely pay rent. Like what is wrong? So I did a whole thread breakdown on like why I think he's not making money and what he could do to make money. In a sense, like that's what I'm excited to talk about like later today is like the business side of how you monetize AI content. And first and foremost, I would say that like if you're just making 8-second, like initially like AI slop was like a pejorative term that was making fun of AI, but now it's actually like a genre in AI, which I would consider either like low effort AI, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's not entertaining. It just means it's kind of like there's no, if I say there's no skill, that's wrong too, because that's what all the AI like, go pick up a pencil, you just prompt, you didn't make this, AI makes, like, I get that's so many freaking stupid comments. Yeah, like I would say AI slop is its own genre of just kind of brain rot content, like the Void Stomper, you know, horror things. I think it's a lot harder to monetize because people don't, like, it can get a lot of views, but it's also, there's no moat around it. Like, I could give you guys the prompts for that. It's a very simple prompt. You could literally upload an image of it, take it in a ChatGPT and say, deconstruct this prompt for me. And then it would. So like, there's no moat around that. So I think the moat always to creating great AI content is taste, is like you said, comedy, entertainment, is knowing what hooks, you know, people. And so that's kind of what we'll break down today is like how to recreate this on a consistent basis.
And then can we also jump into some of the tools? Like, was this all VEO3, and is VEO3 making a big difference? Could you have done it with VEO2 or Kling? Or, I mean, I know you've kind of been on this journey for a minute here.
Yeah. So I've 9 months. Like, let me very condensed backstory. So like commercial director for 15 years. I randomly grew a YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers back in 2019 with my dad. We went from 300 subscribers to 500,000 in a week, which was insane. Thanks to PewDiePie, he gave us a crazy shout out. One of our videos went viral. So I like kind of understood the content game from that, but then I got burnt out because, as you guys know, the YouTube grind is endless. It's this vacuous black hole which constantly consumes all your heart, mind, and attention and doesn't pay a lot. So I burnt out. I raised like millions for a TV series that I wrote. I launched that, but then like, yeah, we were spending $2 million an episode, and I, over time, over budget, and I was like, I think AI will disrupt all this. So then last summer when the show came out, I was like, I'm going all in on AI. I'm going to try and, kind of compress the cost. I don't have any reputation in Hollywood to lose. I like to democratize, these tools to creators. I like to teach people how I do it. So that's kind of was the start of the journey. My first AI video I posted was this Princess Mononoke live action trailer, which was crazy. It got like 22 million views in like 2 days. And it was like my first post on Twitter, essentially. And I had like 700 subscribers. So this is a very young journey for me, for like on most of my socials. Like my YouTube channel was big with my dad, but that was under his name. And then I had 700 subscribers. So I think you can really have like a crazy fast journey. I think TikTok currently is the best platform for like massive viral growth. But I like X because to me, that's where all like if I say like the power brokers and power players, I just mean like high net worth people, investors, the right players, they're on that a bit more than they are on TikTok. Like my DMs on Twitter are like 10 times the quality of my DMs on TikTok, which is like, hey dude, I'm in, high school and I need like a video for my new shoe company. Our budget's like $50, So
right.
Yeah, anyway, so that's kind of my journey in a nutshell. It's been wild. It's really fun. It's still like trying to figure out how to monetize it, but what I have and what I know, I'll share with you. Back to your original question on the tooling side, I've used all the programs over the last 6 months. I really like all of them for different things. I think what makes VEO3 different is the simplicity and the speed of it. So like I just go from script to ChatGPT working on the kind of prompt structure for it. And then I spit that out into VEO3 and it just instantly gives me some pretty great performances. And we're going to walk through kind of how we do that. And then it's just one stop. Like some of my videos are just like clip, 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 done. No lip sync, no other tools, no other things.
Yeah, if you can tell us a little bit about how you approach thinking it. I'm sure you start at kind of the top level. What goes viral? What do people want? And then then comes like the mechanics of actually putting it all together. That's what I was assume.
Exactly. So like I've had a number of videos go viral over the last 6 months. Like the Pupperman one was the one I did on, the other show earlier this week, and I explained my whole process. It's good. And VO3 I think is just like very quick for just creating like really funny content. You're seeing a lot of it. So my buddy sent me this TikTok account, and now this is like huge, but when he sent it to me on Saturday morning, it was like this video which had like 5,000 views, and then this video which had like about 500K views, and the dude had like, this was his second video. He had like 1,000 subscribers. Like it was nothing, and it just ripped. And like that's why TikTok is
it already
crazy.
came across my feed this morning.
Yes, this one's nuts. So let me show you the video real quick, and we'll kind of like deconstruct like how I thought, okay, here's how we can improve it. Here we go.
The king signed a law banning prayer for 30 days. Obviously, I prayed. Let's see how that goes.
All right, guys, it's official. They're throwing me into the lion's den. I'll film what I can, and if I survive, this is gonna blow up.
All right, welcome to my crib. That one's asleep. That one's just staring at me. Honestly, they're kind of chill. But I'm whispering because I really don't want to wake the angry one.
Morning, folks. Still here? And they are too. That one's been staring at me since sunset. Starting to think they like me.
All right, made it out. Thank God, literally. If you watch till the end, comment what you think, and hey, maybe I come back if y'all want part 2. Hey everyone, Daniel here.
So honestly, it's good. It's not like tight and punchy, kind of like mine is, but it's like it's the right direction. And I was like, okay, this there's something here. This can be improved on. Clearly, like people loved it. But ironically, from a technical perspective,
let's see how that goes.
Mute this.
All right, guys, it's official.
From a technical perspective, this is actually not good on the basis that it's a different guy the whole time. And that's the main problem with VO3 right now is character consistency. So you like it's basically all text to video. Like you can't really do talking performances with image to video. So this guy is a different dude. Now, how they did it is they just had a consistent character description. I kind of show you guys this. How I would have improved this is because his voice is different every time. I would have just taken it to 11 Labs and done a voice to voice to make that performance similar or consistent, and then lip synced it all. But I mean, if you describe it in kind of the same way each time, you're gonna get mostly there. I think all this is still not like that hooky for non-Christians because like there's no provocative first thing. It's just a dude in the window. They don't like the Daniel story is not as common. But I thought this bit was when I was like, oh, this is really smart. So I deconstructed this prompt and then I posted on Twitter, which I'll show you in a second. And I love this idea of him whispering, panning the camera. And he's like, I don't want to wake them up because they're kind of angry. And I was like, okay, there's something to explore here. So let's look at my Twitter post.
Just so casual about it all. And then also, can you talk about going to 11 Labs? Because I'm not totally sure what you meant, but I'm assuming you mean that you would have scripted it all out with something text before, gone to 11 Labs, generated all the correct voice, and then synced it up. Is that what you did? What you would have done to make it all?
Let's look. So I would just go to. I think it's just called Voice Changer now. And you could basically download the clip and then upload the clip to here and then just as the audio source, and then you can make it one of these voices and then just have the consistent voice. So then it just takes their voice and it maps each of these various voices to one consistent type of voice and then just resync that on top of the video.
Smart.
Yep. Okay. So once I saw that, I was like, all right, there's something here. So then I wrote this post, and I'm not the best at a lot of social media, but I think the one skill I have is like clickbait headlines at some level, at least on X. And I figured out a formula is like, you have to have some sort of provocative statement on like, usually virality and growth, because that's what like everyone consumes social media either for entertainment or like infotainment of like, I want to know how this creates value for me so that I can recreate the success. Because essentially at the end of the day, we're all narcissists and we all love attention. We ought to figure out how do I increase my status? How do I increase, my attention online? So, saying like this thing is exploding on TikTok is a great kind of first hook.
And then I like to validate it. Like, okay, what's the numbers behind it? So it's like 500K views in 12 hours from an account that only had one video and 100 followers. So very like, you can do this too if you do this. So then it's like, try the prompt for yourself. And this is where kind of my sweet spot has been as like an influencer on X, is like, I used to think prompts were a moat, and I used to hold them really tightly. And now as the models have gotten so much better, like early on, I had very cinematic videos and nobody else or few else did. And it was like, okay, well, that's my moat. And then now like in Runway, you can just prompt like a cinematic shot of this. And then it's like, okay, that it looks like Roger Deakins shot it. Like, this is amazing. Prompts don't matter anymore. So in the sense of like, we have to clutch them. So I'm kind of open kimono with my full processes, because I found that like, if you just give value to others, the opportunities for like accrue to you so much faster than being closed. And, it's like you guys with your channels, like you show the full workflows, like it just, the card of karmic debt always comes back to you in the end. So I don't really hold. So this actually got 600K views like over a day. It was very fast on my thing, and I always try and credit like, it's not my video, it's the creators. But I broke down this the prompt, and this is kind of the prompt structure I've been using in VO3. I think it's pretty simple. In a sense, you have like a main description of what's happening here, and in the second line you have like the quote. If you're getting subtitles to come up in your VO3 videos, I have heard that like if you use quotations around the quote, it has a higher likelihood of putting captions on it, and the captions are gibberish and they look like crap. So I try not to use captions. It still comes through occasionally. And then it says like, then you have a little more of a character performance note. Like, he looks happy as he whispers, as if he knows a secret. And then he pans the camera to show lions in the background behind him. Light pours through the cave entrance, blah, 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 time of day. I think actually the problem with this that I identified later is film stock. This vintage is why we have this. And actually that's not good. So I ended up later removing that. And then ultra wide selfie lens is the other error that I had in here. It'll produce this fisheye lens effect. You don't want that. So just say wide lens in the future. But otherwise, everything's pretty good on this. And then I credit the guy. And then, of course, I'm always trying to drive traffic to my newsletter. Side plug. I have no idea if I'm doing a course, because I keep getting all these crazy opportunities. Like, I had this, like, one of the biggest content creators reached out to me the other day, and I realized that I'm now very busy. So this is the course, basically, for the foreseeable future. So
I guess that's a high quality problem to have. So
yeah. I know. I'm still like not broke, but I'm like, gosh darn it, I have no monetization on any of this. I think I make like $1,200 a month from X, nothing from other platforms, but I get brand deals now with like people wanting commercials, which I have like a small studio that I kind of funnel if I can't take it all to. So like this stuff does pay, but like, yeah, if I was way smarter the moment VO3 dropped, I should have done one viral video and then spent like a solid couple days on like a $99 course. I just don't know if I'll have time for that. And if functionally, I shouldn't say this, but like this, what I'm doing on this call is what I would be teaching anyway, probably just in more polished detail, but who has time for that? So anyway, to that end, subscribe to my newsletter, because this is actually where I give out like full copy and paste prompt workflow guides. I do like a thing a week. So anyway, people really like that, and it did well. So then I was like, okay, and mind you, last week I'm in freaking Hawaii on vacation as I'm visiting my nephew's graduation, supposed to be taking time off. And I told my wife, like, this, like, I can't miss this opportunity. Like, I have to do this stuff. And like, that's the balance. Is it's really hard to have like a healthy lifestyle in as you guys know, as like content creator in an age of like rapidly evolving, like every day a new tool comes out, keeping up with it, mastering the attention behind like creating content with it, teaching. It's just, it's crazy. And then you got to like actually figure out how to make money on this stuff too. So, sorry, I had a big cup of coffee and I talk like a fire hose, but hopefully it's...
And but I just wanted to say to the people watching this that I actually brought up, because I knew that PJ was building a course for this specific stuff, and I actually wanted him to come out, talk about it a little bit. So it's unfortunate that or maybe he'll build it, we'll see. But if he does, I was planning on promoting it, because I haven't seen a...
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything close to this. Like, this is obviously he knows what he's doing. This
I
is not an
appreciate that.
accident. It's obviously a system. It's obviously a formula you can replicate. You don't get lucky 10 times in a row. So whatever he's saying, it's working. It's getting millions of views. So this is, yeah, I would definitely be paying attention to this. I'm taking notes, so.
I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. And like I hope to come out in the course. It could be within a month or so. But like functionally at the end of the day, I just kind of want to like give value as fast as possible to people and just make cool stuff. So this is pretty much most of what I teach. If you subscribe to my newsletter, I'll probably have more news on other things and give helpful tips. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So once I saw that video and I saw of like how well it was doing, I was like, all right, I need to create my own spin on this. So now we're going to talk like scripting. Obviously I talked to you guys about like, I knew the image that would hook everyone's attention was Jesus on the cross, kind of smiling and laughing like he's in on some big joke. Little blasphemous to some people, but I just knew it's what clicks. It's what gets them to watch the video. So you always got to start like hooky, strong. This is essentially functionally the thumbnail of the video, as if this was a YouTube video. So then I kind of referenced myself and said like Bible influencers went crazy viral. So sure enough, the Holy Vlogs guy, he just started, or girl, excuse me, they just started creating more content. And this is very smart for them. I don't know how well this trend will continue to like do well, but look at this, like no videos, 4 million, 3 million, 1 million. And other people are kind of ripping this off in like new things. They'll do it with like other religions, or they'll do it with like video games. Like this is like hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll still
Did you see the
stay
Bigfoot
hot.
Yeah,
Yeah, those ones
So
are really funny. Yeah. So this will stay hot for I think a while, like the format, because technically it's not like a trend, because like this is how everyone consumes normal content. Like they do influencer style videos. So I don't think this will go away. Do I think that like the video, like people, the Bible niche specific one will have played out, but like then you just move on into other things like aliens doing it. And like this thing is kind of going to be evergreen as a format. So we'll kind of talk through it. I knew with this post, I wanted to, I think this would have done better if I had the fake headline of like churches are doing insane videos to market to Gen Z. Like I think that would have been even better, but it's not real. So I felt bad and I didn't do it. But I basically said I'll teach you how to make this step by step. Here's my exact conversation, and then in the post, I basically was like, you create a script with ChatGPT, expand the shot list into my prompt structure, paste it in VEO3, choose favorites, edit it, boom. And then I just gave this, and I sent this out on my newsletter too. This is my full conversation, and this is what we're going to look through with ChatGPT now of like, how am I scripting this? How am I structuring the prompts? And then what goes into the food processor that is VEO3. So let's look into that. I keep everything when I'm creating just kind of on like a notes app. And I'll just write down ideas when I have it. So like later that morning, as I was like, just kind of whatever, hanging out on vacation, I just kind of wrote different jokes that seemed like funny things. So like Adam, this is always this joke I've grown up with where like, what the hell happened with the platypus? Like,
right.
Sting is the weirdest creature ever. I'm always thinking God was like, I think we got 2 designs messed up, but I'm just gonna ship it. We gotta release the product tomorrow. Just ship it. Platypus is a weird creature. So I thought,
I love that this starter Pokemon. That would be that video would be incredible to see.
I did it. Where's
really?
My flow thing? I ended up doing it. I'll have to pull this stuff up.
I'm curious to see how it did the platypus, if it had any issues with that.
Oh, those are those all your Jesus misfires?
Yeah, there was a lot, and it was so I'll take you guys through this in a bit, but the platypus thing was funny. Yeah, I'll walk you guys through this in a little bit. Anyway, this was fun. So I come up with a lot of ideas, and then once I come up with so this is my scripting process. So once I come up with maybe 10 funny ideas where all I write down is just like Jesus with the 5 loaves of bread and fish, showing the crowds as he magically duplicates bread and fish. And he says, I call this trick copy and paste. And then he's just like, So then I write all these down, and then I put them into ChatGPT. So let's go So this is a new virgin conversation. This is the start of my conversation with ChatGPT, just like I wrote it. So I said, I want you to give me VO3 prompts for a number of shots on my shot list. Here's the VO3 prompt structure, which I'd like you to reformat everything like. And guys, I'll send you this prompt structure. You can include it maybe in like the description of the YouTube channel. This is also like, it's on my X, it's on all the platforms because I posted this, but it's like what I talked about before, where it's basically have a description, have the dialogue, have the performance of the dialogue, and then just add a few more details about this. And once you get this to ChatGPT, it can always take and extrapolate, okay, this, just copy and paste this into it with this as the reference of what the output, and then ChatGPT will extrapolate like fitting this into all these different details. And then, so I said, here's the shot list. So what my shot list is then just basically a bunch of little bits like this, you know, and it's bits from the show, like that you ended up seeing, like Samson blindfold, thought they could flex on me, took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down. God is about to BRB. So I think a lot of these I wrote, but then also, as maybe we'll see, is it suggested me new ideas. So that's kind of what I call the co-piloting experience with ChatGPT, is I will say like, here's what I like, here's the tone I'm going for. I usually give it like, think of this as a Key and Peele skit or an SNL bit. So I want you to like reference that dialogue and that thing for what we're creating together, and then give me some ideas on directions we could go. So ChatGPT, I want you to pitch me more ideas for major Bible stories, make them talk like influencers, take note of all the humor that's in my story, try and emulate it, Abbott Elementary, Office, emulate that. So then it's going to pitch back like, Eve, after biting the apple, they said eat local, so I did. Now I'm getting evicted. How did I miss that? That one was actually really good. Eat local.
So I did.
Oh my god. Yeah. And a lot of these is like not that funny. I would say the hit rate is maybe like 1 out of 50 are good, but still, it's like I think creativity is about iteration and like back and forth. And like my best comedy stuff I write, I have like one writing partner, so to say, where I'll just jam with him on like a phone call of like thinking this, he throws me ideas, and then I go back and like kind of write the stuff we threw against the wall. So ChatGPT kind of can function like that for you. So anyway, it pitched me a bunch of different ideas. What's my response? And then I think I like the idea. So there's a story in the Bible of Esther. She's this kind of was almost like hired as like a courtesan / like she became queen because she was like the prettiest, and she ended up saving her people from genocide. So I like the idea of this, like, get ready with me while I go save my people from genocide. Gotta look cute to impress the king. In the end, Google didn't like the word genocide. So, and with all the weird, I don't know, I cut the bit later, but you know, it kind of gives you a lot of like, get ready with me while I like blah, blah, blah. And I'd keep saying like more, give me more. What about something? This is the perfect lip gloss if you need to save your entire people. This is my go-to lip combo when I want to impress the king. So just kind of like iterate. And then when I felt like I had it, I like just put it down on my notes of like my shot list of like, I like this. And then give me the, I want to call this a platypus. So sometimes I'll like have a line, but I don't think it's dialed in yet. So then I'll just give it the line. I'm going to call this one a platypus, but I think it was meant to be a Pokemon. And so then I just say, give me alt versions. And then it'll give me like 10 versions. Like, tell me this isn't a starter Pokemon. You know, and so like, it just kind of gives it. And then I choose one of these and I put it on the, you know, I come back here, put it on the shot list, and then go on to the next one. Give me lines for Jesus, bored in the tomb, waiting 3 days to rise again. Maybe he does a crypt tour. So this is where that line came from. Where was it? Aha, here it is. Day 2 in the tomb. No Wi-Fi, no snacks. And then did I see God respawn me? Okay, I don't know. I don't know if it also suggested respawn me, but that's what I'll do as well, where I'll basically pair part of what it said with another, or I'll ask it to iterate. And, you know, it's just kind of like iterative back and forth. So then here I'm actually asking it to turn my shots into prompts because I want to feel how this is coming out. Okay, cinematics, selfie video style shots. Great. So like I gave it the scene, and it's giving me back this. So then let's go to flow and look at some of these as we start to like see the early drafts and kind of how they go.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just say this. I had a few notes here. So the first thing you're talking about is basically you have a very specific prompt that you're doing, and then you're doing, like for the VEO, you're putting that into ChatGPT, and you're almost doing like a prompt expander. You're like, here's the whole prompt that I want. Here's, apply this to all of these, and it just expands it for you. That's brilliant. That's going to save a lot of work for people. For that iterative back and forth, that's a phenomenal way of using it. I use that so often for all sorts of stuff. One thing I would also recommend people try is use the voice mode for that. Especially if you're walking, you got your headphones on, you're thinking about something, you just click that button, the advanced voice mode with 4.0, and you just go back and forth, and it gives you 10 results. You're like, ooh, I like number 4. Do more like that, and you kind of drill down deeper and deeper, and that works incredibly well. But yeah, that was great.
Okay, amazing. So I think one of the first ones I did was this David one, and you guys should be able to hear audio. So to use VEO3, or they call it Flow, for some reason it defaults to VEO2. So just make sure you're always on VEO3. Quick notes. This is the Ultra plan. The Ultra plan is ultra expensive. It's like $250 a month. I think they subsidize it your first month. You get about 83 generations for that. This video, if I had to guess, probably took around 80 to 100 generations. So let's just call this video $250, but it's led to far more work. Like it was a net good ROI for, me. And I'm sure the models will get cheaper over time. And technically there's like bootleg versions, ways to do this where you could just do like, generate the images in Kling, and then, you can do it in Kling. You can do it like Midjourney for text to image, get that image dialed in, and then just take it into HeyGen, Hedra, captions, like there's 100 like voice talking apps, and then just do that. What you're missing by using those is some of the movement of the backgrounds and kind of like syncing it all together. Like what VEO3 is really good at with text to video is just full motion scenes while people are talking, while other things are happening. Otherwise, with like image to video, it's just not as dynamic of like what's happening in the background.
And I noticed you use one shot, one iteration per prompt, and you do it multiple times if needed. That's smart. Can you explain that?
That's exactly right. So technically, if you got a lot of cash to burn, you could do 4, which is like, it's like $10 or whatever like that to do that. But what I have found is that like there are going to be little iterations. So for instance, when I first did this one with Noah,
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match.
So clearly, like we're having an issue here with the captions. I still didn't do quotations, so I unfortunately just kind of got to run it again. What I didn't like was the fact that it was giving me the animals walking out of the arc instead of into the arc. So then what I did in this case is I would basically copy and paste this, bring it back into ChatGPT, and just say, here, I'll just do it with you guys.
That saves a lot of credits, right?
Exactly, because it's slow, but you just really want to do one at a time to save money. And then I basically say, can you adjust this prompt to make it clear that the animals are walking into the arc? VEO3 keeps making them walk out of the arc, something like that, and then just hit enter, and it'll give you an adjusted prompt to that.
All right, we're going to continue the conversation on the Dylan Curious channel. That's going to be available right now. We'll have links down below, so click there, and we'll see you in a minute.